USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Shotgun Spratling for instant analysis of USC's Tuesday practice of Arizona week. Now, Shotgun, when we got to talk to quarterback Jackson Dart after the Notre Dame game, he basically previewed this week as his first full week back healthy, and that's kind of what we saw today. I asked him today, did he feel like he got more rest? And he said, I think I did. What did you see in practice today?
Yeah, I think he's getting some more opportunities and just a little. Going to give him some extra reps, some extra opportunities in 7-on-7, in the full team stuff, and seeing him back out there and seeing him move around in some of the quarterback drills as well. I think these are all important steps for him to take. He was cleared last Wednesday, he said, after last Wednesday's practice, so he did have one full practice last week, but he said he was really excited to come into this week and get a full week of practice under his belt, and we'll see if the Jackson Dart package finally comes to fruition, which was supposed to be implemented in the Washington State game, but of course Keaton Slovis gets injured early, so we'll see if that's something that in the Arizona game, if Jackson Dart is cleared and he's 100%, because that was part of the reason that Dante Williams said that he did not play him in the game at Notre Dame, was that he was at 80 to 85%, and they wanted to make sure he gets to 100%, but all indications are he's moving that way, definitely. You know, he's seeing more reps and seeing more opportunities for him, which tells you that he's gaining more confidence in that knee as well, and it doesn't seem to be hindering him at all right now.
Yeah, but Dante Williams wanted to pump the brakes a little bit. He wanted to illustrate Jackson Dart's knee health, and he said, I beat Jackson Dart in a race on Monday, so apparently he's not 100%, but Dante Williams did say it is Arizona's problem whether or not we play one quarterback or two. How much of that is just gamesmanship, or do you actually think we could see Jackson Dart against Arizona?
I think we could. I think he's working his way there, and if he continues to progress, then I think that he may be fully healthy by the end of the week, and see him in there and to see what he can do. What different elements can you add? Do you want to immediately go to the things that you were going to have in when he was healthy? The read option stuff and the stuff getting him outside the pocket, the things you're not going to do as much with Keaton Slovis. That's the big question. Or do you just want to kind of get his feet wet, and you're giving him a couple of series, or giving him a couple of specific plays and sequences that you want him to run? That was something Graham Harrell was asked, and he said, either way, whether you put him in for specific down and distance, or if you put him in, for specific packages, or give him a straight series, either one, it's going to be a unique experience for him, and the important thing is for him to get some experience, and they want to get him and Miller Moss both experience as the season progresses, and the big thing for them to be able to get young quarterbacks and young players experience is to win some games by big margins, and this is a great opportunity for that. Maybe if they can get ahead against Arizona, get some things going early, then that could give them an opportunity to play not only Jackson Dart, but also Miller Moss in the third or fourth quarter in this game if they can get up big. But that's the thing. We asked a lot of people today, how do you get the mojo back? How does this team get its mojo back? And one of the people I asked was Andrew Voorhees. He said, if we just get going and, if the offense starts rolling early, then that'll build into the defense, and that'll build into the special teams. He said, look back at the Washington State game, and you'll see one area starts going, then the next, and then the next. So that's the big thing. And, I asked Keaton Slovis the same thing, and he said they need to go out on the field and prove to themselves that they can be a really good offensive team. If they can do that, they think they can get rolling at the last half of the season.
Mm-hmm. One of the key takeaways from USC's performance at Notre Dame was its run game, and specifically running back Kiante Ingram. Mike Jinks said that he thinks that Keontae's ankle injury that he suffered in fall camp actually hindered him a little bit coming into this season, and now he's finally coming into his own. What do you think going forward we'll see from both Kiante Ingram and USC's run game?
Well, Kiante Ingram says he feels like even though he's in an air raid system, he feels like he's 1,000-yard back. So we'll see if he can get to that mark this season with 5 games left. I think that he has a great opportunity to get there with the way he's been running and the way they're now calling plays. Dante Williams said they've called more just run-only plays, not run-pass options, not giving Keaton Slovis the option. Just let's run the ball, let's get behind those offensive linemen, let them work. And Kiante Ingram, did a really nice job in that game of going downhill. They ran a lot more inside zone in that game than they have previously this season, and I thought the offensive line did a good job in the interior as well, creating some space. And that was one of the things Dante Williams came away with as well, is that the offensive line was getting some push and allowing him to get. And a couple times when someone did get in the backfield, Kiante Ingram's making guys miss now, and I think that's one of the big differences from what we saw early in the season, is that he's putting the whole package together right now, and we'll see what he can continue to do, how they can use him in some different ways. Dante was asked, does that mean it's now a number 1 and a number 2 versus a 1A, 1B? He said, no, we got 3 good running backs. I think it's 1A, 1B, 1C. And I was like, I don't think that's necessarily the case the way Keontae's running right now. Yeah. I think he's the clear number 1.
Mm-hmm. Now, you did mention that Dante Williams praised the offensive line, but Clay McGuire was pretty critical of their performance on Saturday. We did see some changes based on that in practice today. What did we see?
Jalen McKenzie, he came in early in the game for Jonah Monheim, 2 drives into the game. They didn't like the matchup, and they decided we're going to go to Jalen McKenzie, and he played out the rest of the game at right tackle. And we saw that today again as well. So he started with the first team at right tackle. We saw Jonah Monheim play some right tackle with the second team, but we also saw him in the interior playing some right guard with Andrew Voorhees actually playing right tackle with the second team at times. So mixing and matching a little bit there. I think they're keeping their options open. Jonah Monheim obviously struggled in that Notre Dame game, and it sounded like, you talked to Clay McGuire, it sounded like they were kind of a little concerned about that matchup going in.
Yeah, they were. He said that they knew that would be a tough matchup, and there was a short leash for Jonah if he did struggle there. What was interesting, though, is that he said that after Jonah struggled against Stanford, he bounced back the next game against Washington State. So I don't know if this is a situation where you're playing an Arizona opponent. Do you put Jonah back in there, start him to kind of boost his confidence again?
Well, I think that it's a great opponent to do that. Obviously Arizona just doesn't have the talent as some other teams. So, if you get a chance, you put him in there, you let him, get his feet wet again and build his confidence. And I asked Andrew Voorhees, who's a little bit of a mentor, big brother type to Jonah Monheim, and he said, I said, what's your advice to him to try to build that confidence back up? He said, just stay the course. You keep with the process going forward. Sometimes you're going to have, a bad game or something, but you got to bounce back from it and go to work. And he said, the one thing he would tell him is to work even harder this week to try to get back on track against Arizona and going forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, Drake London continues to be a bright spot for USC fans, I guess college football fans in 2021. We got to talk to him today. He intends to continue to be a bright spot, right?
Yeah, that's the good news for USC fans. Some people have asked, is Drake London going to shut it down? Should he shut it down? He said he wants to play out the season. He wants to play in a bowl game as well. So that's, one of his big goals right now is to get USC bowl eligible so that he gets another game. And if he does, that's going to put him in an even better position, not only with the Biletnikoff Award and all the stats that he can accrue in one extra game, but also some of the records at USC. He's on pace to set the single-season receptions record. And there's a couple other that he could be in contention for, and an extra game at the end of the season would not hurt those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, Chuck, and you were asking players and coaches what the team needs to do to get their mojo back. What did you take away from the overall vibe at practice today? I know it's kind of interesting coming off a road loss like that.
I think that the team is trying to bounce back. A lot of the same stuff that we've seen in the past, but an interesting little addition early before practice. There's the Juice Crew, or the Juice Squad. I'm not sure exactly what they're calling themselves, but Kanai Mauga, Vavai Malapai, some other guys, Solomon Tulialapupu, when guys are running into the practice, are there to hype them up and get them going.
Like a little tunnel.
Yeah, a little preview tunnel to go into the practice, and just bring some extra energy. And apparently that's one of the things Dante Williams has been asking for from the team is we need to bring more energy, not only to games, but to practices as well. And I think that's one way to start it. Now, it's a small thing, it's a little thing, but you love to see the players kind of taking ownership of something, and a captain like Vavai Malapai jumping in and being a part of that as well, and Kanai Mauga, who's one of the leaders on the defense, them trying to boost the morale going into practice and try to get things going from the very start.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, Shucken, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here on Tuesday?
No, I think it's interesting talking to Keaton Slovis and Graham Harrell. One of the things they did mention is, we've talked about the red zone inefficiency. One of the big issues for them, when I talked to Andrew Voorhees, he said they just got to finish. That's been a word that everyone has used this season over and over and over. And Graham Harrell and Keaton Slovis pointed out, they said we got to do better. We can't have the turnovers in particular. You can't come away with no points. They said if we just got 3 points on those 3 drives where they came up empty-handed with the turnover, with the end of half where they run out of time, and with the missed field goal, that's 9 points. They pull within 8 points even after missing that extra point at the end. So you wonder how different would the game have been if that was the case. And that's what they were kind of pondering themselves is how different would this be? We got to make sure that even if you don't score 7 points, you at least put 3 on the board. You got to take advantage of all those opportunities in the scoring, when you get in scoring position. And, they didn't do that against Notre Dame. So that's been a big emphasis going forward from their meetings and trying to implement that on Tuesday's practice. I think you'll see it as they go forward. They're putting in some different things, Keaton Slovis said, for the red zone package. They've got good stuff. They've got good schematics, they say. They just got to actually go out there and perform, win their one-on-one matchups is what Andrew Voorhees said.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for USC's Tuesday practice of Arizona Week. For Shotgun Spratling, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.